Well, what I've learned following the opioid crisis over the last few decades is that it takes various forms and it is persistent. So we need to really address how we're going to provide the services that people who need care and how they will get that care.
And tell me a bit about opioids, what they are, how they're harmful, just things like that.
Well, they're highly addictive substances. They're often used in medical care or dental care for pain control. But what happens is if people are on them for extended periods of time, they can develop dependence and addiction. And it can affect respiratory rates taken in high amounts. It can depress respiratory rates so low that people stop breathing. It affects brain chemistry, and it has a whole pile of other effects on the body as well.
And where are these drugs coming from?
Well, some of them are manufactured here. Many of them are manufactured overseas, depending on the raw ingredients. What we're seeing right now is fentanyl coming in from other countries and the raw ingredients for that, along with something called carfentanil. But now there is a process that seems to be appearing where it's becoming available here and manufactured here.
And what is the difference between carfentanil and fentanyl?
Well, carfentanil is about 100 times more potent than fentanyl. It has been used as an elephant tranquilizer, so it gives you some idea of the body mass that it would affect. So it's extremely potent. And one of the issues with naloxone is that it might take many doses to counter-effect the associated side effects of carfentanil.
And back onto the naloxone, you say that it is, of course, very helpful. It does, of course, save people's lives, but people often rely on it far too often. What do you think should be done to help this issue and to help prevent people from needing naloxone in the first place?
Right. Well, one of the areas that really needs to be addressed urgently is education at the lower levels. Kids need to be taught and understand that naloxone, and adults need to understand too, that naloxone alone is not the solution. It needs to be coupled and partnered with education programs, treatment programs, detoxification programs, and beds made available for those programs. Naloxone has the risk of being a false sense of security. It might take many doses of naloxone in an overdose to bring someone back. And those people also need to go to the hospital. So keeping a naloxone kit at home or on you might be a good idea, but it is not the only thing that needs to be done, and it's only part of the solution.
And you were on how long were you on the Board of Public Health, first of all?
I was on the Board of Health in the City of Ottawa for 4 years. It extended a little bit longer than that because we were the first board to be elected with a combination of city councillors and residents. So it extended a little bit longer than 4 years.
And how do you find the Board of Health is dealing with the situation? What do you think they could do moving forward to help this situation and help prevent more people and more teens from overdosing?
Well, let me just first say that the Board of Health is doing the best it can. It's lacking resources. The government really needs to put funding behind each one of the aspects of the solution, whether it's education, whether it's law enforcement, naloxone kits, public health initiatives. The funding needs to be there. So the Board of Health could be a coordinator. It could help to assist in being the hub, but it needs funding to be able to do that. And I know the heart is there, and the intent is there, the conviction to provide solutions is there, but it needs to be backed by funding. So we need more frontline initiatives, and at a younger age. It's too late by the time we get into the high schools. These things and the availability of these drugs is far-reaching. It's in areas and in medications that people don't even know it's in, and that's part of the big issue. So how we address education, prevention is a very big part of the solution. And wanted me to address the, what's the last part?
The education.
Yeah, okay, so expanding on that. So the education part really needs to be about not looking at medications to solve every problem that you have. There is a form of numbing that goes on when people are distressed. We need more counseling services. We need more availability of services appropriate to the level of the person's needs. And so education can be very broad. It's not specific about this is an addictive drug, don't take this. It also needs to be about resilience, building capacity within each individual to withstand difficulties in life, and also to understand that medications, or drugs in this case, are not the solution to emotional issues, to psychological trauma, or coping. There are more advantageous coping mechanisms that people need to learn.
And what do you think of the treatment and support programs that are currently in place? And of course, there are some very good ones, such as the Dave Smith Youth Treatment Center, yet they don't have the necessary funding to help everyone, and that's why there's such big waiting lists that for many people are sadly far too long, especially when they need help right away. What do you think should be done to help these resources, and what do you think of the resources that are already in place and just how to make them better?
Well, there's been tremendous effort to increase awareness, and increasing awareness is very important, but it needs to be backstopped with funding. So there may be private treatment programs that people can access if they have funding. If they don't, they can't access those treatments. We have a situation where people can go to the hospital with a heart attack or other life-threatening illnesses and diseases and be treated very promptly. But when it comes to addiction, we have wait lists of months and even years. And so we need not only access to treatment in a timely way, but we also need longer-term follow-up. Longer-term follow-up that enables those treatment programs to be successful, so that you're not just in a treatment program and then removed. The frontline care needs to be there, and what we're seeing at the government level is a lot of waste. A lot of dollars being spent on a variety of measurements, which we need data, but we also need the frontline care. So we need to bring a better balance to that. Understanding the degree of the issue is important. We know that in the last several days there was 15 overdoses. So we know that there's an issue, and we know that looking at other jurisdictions, that this is a growing issue. It's not going away. So we really need a task force to look at how we're going to address this in a comprehensive, holistic way, and not simply looking at a naloxone kit as the whole solution. There needs to be a whole myriad along the continuum, starting with training at a young age, at an education level in elementary schools, moving on to prevention programs in more detail, funding for treatment beds, funding for detox beds, and funding for creating healthy coping mechanisms in our youth.
Tell me a bit about what type of drugs are classified as opioids, and when naloxone kits can be used, because my understanding is they can only be used for opioid overdoses.
Yes, what naloxone does, it acts as an antidote to the opioid mechanism, and what happens is it will counteract the effect of the drug, but you need it in certain amounts. So if you have a very potent drug like carfentanil, naloxone might be required in multiple doses. So you might take the naloxone, you might have that injected, but then what happens is that wears off too. It has a time life. And so you need to be prepared if there's a high concentration drug like carfentanil on board. You may need multiple doses of naloxone, and you don't really know how long that will last. So that's why it's imperative that someone who's had an overdose be attended in a medical facility by trained people who are dealing with this sort of issue.
And what type of drugs are opioids?
Opioids are pain medication. That's how they were derived. I mean, they go back centuries and centuries ago to even opioid dens, an opium. They're derived originally from an opium plant, but they're manufactured now. So there are all kinds of raw ingredients that go into medications, like a pill or a fentanyl pill. There are pill pressing machines, and it's hard to know exactly what is in those pills. So when people are purchasing a pill on the street, there's no way to know the quality. There's no way to know what's in that. It's extremely risky, and you're really putting your life on the line when you do that.
And a lot of people are debating if you should even be able to get opioids from a doctor. If someone is in excruciating pain, they might be prescribed fentanyl or oxycodone or morphine or any of these types of things. Do you think that it's okay for people to be prescribed these drugs if it's watched by the doctors?
Well, there's an appropriateness to the prescribing. So if someone is in severe pain, some types of pain are extremely painful and excruciating, and those need to be addressed. We know that pain, having too much pain, also affects people's recovery, but there's a balance. The duration of the treatment, what they're used for, what types of pain they're used for, and pain will also vary according to an individual. Some people perceive pain extremely at high levels compared to someone else who might have the same disease or the same problem. So we need to be careful. It's not just physicians, and I think we have to be careful about that. Pain medication is used also in dentistry, but we need an appropriateness, and people need to be aware that a little bit of pain in many cases is fine. It's not going to harm you in any way. But if you are trying to eliminate every pain, then that has repercussions, and particularly with opioids, there are long-term consequences. So take the minimum that you need to control your pain, and make sure that you're accessing medications from someone who is trained and licensed to provide it. But still, be cautious for what you really need yourself.